Evolution of screen display. The first time someone demonstrated a display was in 1897, which made its commercial debut after 25 years in 1922. Amazingly, the first time a screen got displayed was with the help of tube technology. Can you imagine watching marbles on a tube screen? No, right? If you think that the first ever screen display was the monochrome black and white screens, you need to watch this video. So, to get all the astonishing stages of the evolution of screen display, stick with us till the end. You're watching Future Tech Lab, and without any further delay, let's get into today's video about the evolution of screen display through the decades. Cathode ray tube in 1934. You must have seen those thick and small TV in the historical movies of the 80s and 90s, named cathode ray tubes or CRT TV. This initial display medium was first used as an oscilloscope to view oscillations as a whole display on the screen. Later, this technology made its way through the TV screen in 1934 and then to the computer monitors. The first ever TV was launched by a German company named Telefunken for $8,000, holding the CRT technology. A CRT TV works by shooting electrons from blue, green, and red phosphorus beams horizontally through an electron gun. These horizontal lines hit the electron and create a glowing effect, resulting in an illusion of moving pictures. These screens became so popular in the 20th century despite the fact that these contained toxic materials like lead and phosphorus. Later on, in 1954, Radio Corporation of America invented the first color commercial CRT. Low-power LCD in 1970. The display took a shift from shooting electrons to manipulating liquid crystals in the 1970s. A principle called the twisted pneumatic effect was the reason behind the LCD. An electric field is used to shift the special liquid crystals from one certain state to another in this process. If the molecules are not twisted, the liquid will be in a resting or off stage. By applying low voltage, these liquid crystal molecules twist and form the working or on stage. By using this technique with various specifications, physicists displayed various letters and numbers. This process resulted in the invention of calculators and digital wristwatches. In 1911, the twisted pneumatic effect was initially recognized by a French physicist named Charles Victor, who worked in a team Wolfgang in the Radio Corporation of America. Unfortunately, the RCA rejected the idea of low-voltage LCD, stating it was a dumb idea. So Wolfgang decided to take their idea to the Roche lab in Switzerland, where the idea was appreciated and samples were created. At the same time, an American liquid crystal expert, James, started to work on the twisted pneumatic effect. Both the personnel created a bit different patterns for the same technology, resulting in a 3-year-long dispute, which was later solved, resulting in the first wristwatch, called Grün Teletime, in 1972, with a low-voltage LCD. More to that is the thin-film transistor LCD. This technology is used to enhance the picture quality and clarity at once. It is basically an active matrix, which means that it is directly connected to the electronics outside the LCD. The first TFT technology was introduced by John Walmark in February 1957. The technology went through several modifications by many people and finally got its recognition in 2013 in the display of every high-resolution device. This technology, made with thin films of cadmium selenide and cadmium sulfide, was used in video games, mobile devices, televisions, computer screens, and more. LED in the 1980s. In many forms, the LED started to raise its head in the late 1900s, such as OLED enamel. The procedure of how an LED screen works is pretty complicated, so we will break it as simply as possible for you. Basically, an LED works on glowing when current is passed through it, called organic light emitting diode or OLED. By combining millions and billions of these OLEDs together, you get pixels. The fun part is that LED use the same technology as LCD, but on a much wider scale. A screen consists of millions and billions of these pixels to form a whole image. Each of the million pixels consists of 3 transistor switches, each connecting to 3 subpixels, red, blue, and green. These transistors of each color pixel handle the brightness level of each subpixel. By combining different brightness levels of uncountable pixels, your screen displays a picture. This particular technique is called the active matrix display, which was introduced in 1974 by Westinghouse Electric. In 1989, the first portable laptop, named Macintosh, was launched using the active matrix panel. Not to forget, The OLEDs that utilize the active matrix are called active matrix OLED or AMOLED. Here's the fun fact. An AMOLED is called Super AMOLED when the display is integrated with touch technology without any improvements in the display quality. Such display can reflect 1/5 of the sunlight compared to the first AMOLED. Similarly, there are various versions of AMOLEDs with minor to major modifications, such as Super AMOLED Advanced, Super AMOLED Plus, HD Super AMOLED, HD Super AMOLED Plus, Full HD Super AMOLED Plus, and the Quad HD Super AMOLED. Multi-touch screen display in the 2000s. In the late 90s or early 20s, the screen evolved from a medium of viewing to a medium of touch and manipulation by multi-touch technology. Let us elaborate on how the touch screens work. Basically, these screens are designed in a way that your finger acts as an electrical conductor to complete the circuit. So, your touch results in an electrostatic charge on the screen surface, causing visible movements on your screen. However, these screens register a touch based on force as well. For example, an automatic coffee machine display, ATMs, car dashboard display, and so on. From 1999 to 2005, this technology was initially utilized by the company ThinkerWorks to help people with wrist injuries and other disabilities. The mobile companies soon took up this multi-touch technology, and Apple bought the ThinkerWorks company to utilize this tech. In 2007, Apple launched its first iPhone with multi-touch technology. Plasma screen in the 2010s. In the early 20s, there was the origin of a much more efficient screen display known as plasma screen display. Plasma is basically the electrically conducted gas that contains freely movable ions and electrons. These plasma TV basically worked on the principle of fluorescent light cells that glow to form a picture. If a voltage reaches the plasma molecules will collide rapidly, resulting in the movement of negatively charged particles and positively charged particles towards the opposite poles. This movement of oppositely charged particles causes the release of photons or light. Though this emitted light is not visible to the human eye, due to being ultraviolet, the coating of phosphoric material can make the light visible. Plasma screens were initially considered for the early computer monitors in the 1970s. They were preferred over the cathode ray tube TV because of the size. Plasma screens required less machinery and were lighter as well. Each pixel has 3 glowing cells in the primary colors in a plasma screen. These cells' color contrast and fluorescence are programmed smartly to get the desired picture. A Hungarian engineer named Kolomenteny proposed the plasma display for the first time in 1963. After decades of ups and downs, huge names like Panasonic and Samsung launched their products with plasma screen displays in the 2010s. However, these plasma devices went through the lane after Panasonic announced to stop the manufacturing of plasma devices. However, many companies still continue to base their devices on plasma technology. There we have it, which brings us to the end of today's video. So what do you think was the most exciting era of the screen display, and which one deserved the hype? Please leave your answers in the comments section below. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Future Tech Lab, where we talk about tech, its history, and predictions. While you're at it, hit the bell, so you never miss any of our videos, as more exciting ones like this are on the way. In the next one, I'll see you.